Hey guys, we're about to tear the tank out of the Grand Prix today. Here's what we got so far. I tried draining that tank, and that's what came out of there. Nothing really, it's not good looking. There's a lot of fine stuff. I don't know if you guys can see that, but see if I can mix that up a little. Yeah, there's a lot of fine stuff in the bottom. And that's the same thing that was in that little tiny filter. When I first looked at that filter, it looked like it was clean. If you look at that thing, you see a little bit. But if you look close at that thing, it's packed. I cannot blow anything at all through that. So what we did next is I blew air back up the line to the tank. Well, the tank was under pressure, it would drain, and then it would stop. So I'd blow more air in it, pressurize the tank, and then it was draining. So I went back to give it a vent, open the cap, and the second you open the cap, the pressure comes out of the tank and it stops draining. So there's definitely something clogged between here and the tank. Well, it's probably in the tank, but so between this and the tank, I just can't get anything out of it. If I blow air in there, it'll drain. That's how I got like that 2.5 gallon-ish, 2 gallons out. But if I blow back in this right now, it'll bubble in the tank. But I can't get it to drain anything out. If I pressurize the tank, it comes out up front. Hopefully we got it drained well enough. So we're going to pull that tank out. There's a couple things I want to... So I'm going to pull that tank, which is these two bolts, the two strap bolts. So there's a strap here, there's a bolt up at the top behind that pipe, and then there's a bolt right there. We're going to zip these out. I chopped all those fuel lines off because we're just going to replace them. And this wire here is for the fuel gauge, and it comes right from the trunk in that hole. It comes out of that hole. So we'll zip those two bolts out. We're going to pull all the wheels off so we can get a look at the brakes. The other day I noticed you can't budge this wheel at all. That brake is totally stuck. So, all right, I'll bring you guys back because we're on the air tools today. So I'll zip that tank out and I'll show you what we found. Okay guys, we're going to break this thing open. Oh, that's pretty rusty. Well, there's our sock. Sock is all there. I wonder if it's clogged with the same stuff we found in the... And that's awful rusty. That didn't look that bad when I looked in there with the camera. Oh. Well. That's junk. Try to give you guys a little view of the inside of that thing. And it is just rusty. I don't know if you guys can really... let's see. There's our fuel that doesn't look so hot. And even the baffle in there It's just surface rust. Everything is surface rust in there. That fuel looks like a lot of water. I can't see without that light. Yeah. Bad news. Okay, well, I think we'll try to, I don't know if it's worth trying to clean this. It's probably not worth trying to clean it. I gotta see what the availability is to get one of these. Put a new tank in it. Rear brakes look pretty decent. The drums still had the factory, the yellow paint marks on them. Drum needs some cleaning up. Same with the front. We'll spin them at least. And pads don't look all that terrible. Probably more than that's the one that's stuck. So I don't know if that's caliper or if that's brake hose, master cylinder, or both, or all three. Maybe we'll chop that off and see if it loosens up. We'll chop that off and see if it loosens up. Hi, puppy. What you doing, Elise? Huh? Yeah, you just hanging out, puppy? Same on the other side. The brakes look like pretty even in wear. This side might be a little thinner. But somebody put pads on it. So we're going to do 2 new wheel cylinders. A master. We'll figure out what's going up here. I'll probably replace those calipers. And they don't look terrible, but who knows. Maybe I'll blow one apart and show you guys the inside. That's Delco. Probably the originals. It doesn't have very many miles on it. The hose is probably bad on that thing. There's our gas bucket. So if that hose ain't clogged all the way, yeah, the hose ain't no good either. See how it's packed? So that could be what's binding this up, but it's probably caliper also. Yeah, it's still stuck. Well, so we'll pull all this stuff apart. We'll get a parts list going, get some new tires. I'm going to see what the availability of this tank is. I hope I don't have to clean that tank. If it doesn't, the tank is terrible inside. Okay guys, we're going to pull the wheel cylinder. So there's 2 bolts in the back and a line. If this was in the Northeast, I would have twisted and made a mess out of everything. The rust and everything up there. You don't get these lines, but you end up redoing all the lines because the ends twist off, they're so rusted up. I did spray everything down beforehand. Man, these come right out. Surprising. I don't miss working on rusty old stuff, that's for sure. Broken bolts, broken lines, broken everything. Okay guys, I'm going to slide this around to the front so you can see what's going on up in the front. Alright, so we're going to try to leave all this stuff, all the shoes and everything in place if we can. If it falls apart, it falls apart, but most of the time we'll get pretty lucky with just leaving that stuff in there. We'll try to sneak the wheel cylinder out. That one wants to fight. Next one probably wants to fight too. If you push down on the self-adjuster, it'll compress that little spring down the bottom here. That'll give you a little bit more room on this rod to work because it moves it. What we'll try to do is just pull these back as far as we can, like so. And of course it's stuck in there. There it is. Okay, and there's our wheel cylinder. We'll take a look at that on the bench and see if it's all screwed up inside. Okay guys, I'm going to move you to the front. Ray, what do you think, buddy? You impressed? No, you don't look impressed. We'll pull that caliper off real quick. There's two Allen screw pins that hold these calipers on. One there, one there. Not terrible rusty. Hard to the end, I guess. This one wants to fight us. Okay, that's that. That's the one that was hanging up. We'll take a look at that one on the bench too. See what's what. Okay guys, we're moving on to the master cylinder. So we're going to break these two lines loose first. Then there's two nuts. See if I can move you guys. So that's one there, right there. And then there's another one on this side, which I don't know if you can. I don't even know where you guys are. You're lost right now. There you go. There's one right here. So that's the other nut. Those two nuts hold it to the power brake booster. You can tell this master's bad because you got that rundown spot. That's where the fluid's been leaking out of the master. It's running down the face of the booster. We really need a hood for this thing too. We gotta find a hood for this. Alright guys, I'm gonna whip that off. Then we'll take a look at that too. See how bad the fluid is. I don't remember if I added any to this. I don't think I did. Oh, I like these lines coming right off. Nope, not yet. Sometimes if you wiggle the line a little bit, you can turn it. Okay. I'm gonna get you with some noise. Okay guys, I'll pull that off there and I'll see you at the bench. There you can see all the crap that's been leaking into that booster. See that brake fluid, there's just a puddle of it right there. You don't want that. Alright guys, we're going to try to blow this caliper apart. We're going to blow air in here where the brake hose goes. And it should push that piston out. If it's not totally bound up inside there. Don't put anything in this area because it will, when that comes out, it comes out usually with, you know, a good amount of force. So make sure you don't get anything in there. Just like that. Perfect. Alright guys, let me show you what's in here now. So what you have in here, see all that rust is the stuff that binds them up, right there. But that piston's pretty good, so you could clean it up. So you clean it up, and then you have this dust seal. Probably won't come out of there. No, I can't get it out of there. So this dust seal gets tapped in and has a metal ring. Without actually ripping into it, we can't get it out of there. But anyway, that's where that seal is. There's two seals in there. You have this outside dust seal. And then if you look, I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not. Let me see if I can show you guys this thing. Okay. So right here, where my finger is, there's another seal. That seals the piston. Right? So there's a seal right there. That one there seals the piston. Then this outside one is just a boot to keep dust and dirt out. So that seal on the piston makes this, it seals on this, all this rusty crap, which is normally, this is all clean. Okay, the dust boot locks in that groove there, and this groove right here, and that other one seals on the outside of this. So when it's all the way in, the seal's sealed here. Then so that's in there, like so, it's inside there. When you step on the pedal, this thing's full of fluid. It builds up pressure behind this and pushes this out, squeezing the two pads together on the rotor. That's how it stops you. This caliper also slides on these two little pins. These pins are all jammed in this thing because it's been sitting. But these pins should move in and out. So if you have a dragon brake, if these pins ain't working, it'll clamp the brake, and then this caliper doesn't remove. So it'll end up burning the outside pad out. If these are working and it's burning the inside pad out, then it's the caliper itself is hanging up. So it squeezes it, then it doesn't release quite right. It can burn both of them, or sometimes it can burn just the inside, depending on the shape of these slides. So that's a few things to look for if your car is burning up the brake, you know, or the hose is clogged, but then it usually just squeezes and burns both of them. But on something this old, you should replace the hoses anyway. It's just good practice. You need brakes. I mean, you know, being too cheap about it, it's really not worth it. So that's how that works. Now, these wheel cylinders, I haven't touched these. So here's the wheel cylinder. Turn you guys a little bit. I haven't been checking this. Maybe I hope you guys saw all that. All right. So we'll pull this out. See, like this one here, it doesn't look too bad. I'll see all that rust in there. Well, on the pin at least. We'll cut it open. But there's a lot of rust on that one. Same with this one. See all this crud? That's not a good sign for the wheel cylinder. Yeah. We'll cut one of these open and see what it looks like. Yeah, see, that's the stuff you don't want to see right there. You know, when you're dumping that out. So that cap, that's the piston that pushes. So when the fluid comes in, and these open up, applying the shoes to the drum. If they're all bound up, like, so you do a revival on an old car, whatever, you got a car that's been sitting, you get it running, you bleed all the brakes, because this will make like a good brake pedal. They won't work, but you can probably bleed this if that ain't all clogged up in there. And you'd think, wow, the brakes are going to work. But then when you cruise down the street, you only got fronts, or maybe even one, but it'll pull, you'd know that. But yeah, it's just not a good idea. For the cheap money that these things are, it's better to replace them. Especially, like, that's not going to work. And I'm sure this one's probably the same way. It doesn't look as bad, but I'm sure it's not good. Anytime cars sit around, see, that's the stuff you get, and it's just no good. You know, you go down the road like that. Maybe it does decide to move after a little while, and then the brake starts dragging, and then you're in trouble anyway. Alright guys, that's that. I'll get some parts and... Okay guys, I figure we'll take a quick look in this master cylinder and see what the fluid looks like in there. It's not good looking, but I've seen a lot worse. Let's go. I'm going to dump this out. We'll see what the master cylinder looks like. Okay guys, here's what that master cylinder looks like inside. It's really not terrible in there. There's some rusty stuff, but it'll probably be cleaned up. But it was leaking out the back, so that's another thing that's, I believe in brakes, so. Alright guys. Ray, is that it for the Pontiac today? We had enough? Yeah? Alright, we're going to call it quits on the Pontiac today. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.